eCapitol News Director Sean Ashley joins us for more on what is happening at the Capitol. Sean, thank you so much for being with us.
You're very welcome.
Well, I understand the governor has alluded to some new measures that could raise revenue, but it would not meet the 3/4 requirement. First of all, explain the 3/4 requirement, and then let's learn about these measures.
Certainly. The 3/4 requirement is a constitutional provision that says any revenue-raising measure, any genuine tax increase, needs to pass by a 3/4 vote in both the House and the Senate. If you'll look back to last August, for example, when the Supreme Court looked at the tobacco cessation fee, which the legislature had passed, they said that was a revenue-raising measure. It was a tax being labeled a fee. As a result, they found it unconstitutional because it didn't start in the House of Representatives, which is also another requirement, and it did not receive a 3/4 vote in both chambers of the legislature. In this case, the governor is referring to a number of proposals that would pare back some of the sales tax exemptions and credits that currently exist. In many cases, these would put caps on how much could be claimed each year. In other instances, it would make it more difficult to utilize some of the credits and exemptions by closing up what some are calling loopholes. They did something similar during the 2017 regular session and raised tens of millions of dollars in doing so.
So they would scale that back even more.
Even more, or on different credits and exemptions.
Okay, it's another more budget fights looming in that
Exactly.
arena. Okay, and Oklahoma remains on the hook for funding 2 state medical schools. What's the story on that one?
Well, for several years, the state has used Medicaid money to help fund our state medical schools. But in doing so, they had not applied to the federal government and received the appropriate waiver in order to use that money to do so. A recent federal audit found that fact and said, wait, you can't do that anymore, and ordered the state to stop. As a result, the Oklahoma Health Care Authority, which manages the state's Medicaid money, pulled $31 million back from our state medical schools, which the legislature is working on reappropriating to them, as well as an additional $110 million for the upcoming fiscal year to make sure that they can continue to operate and maintain their accreditation.
I understand one senator is working on utilizing TSET money for this.
That's right. Senator Josh Burkeen has proposed an amendment to the state's TSET, or Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust Fund laws, both its statutory components and its constitutional components, which would allow money from those funds to be utilized for the medical schools. Already, TSET does provide some funding to the OSU Medical School to help fund its residency programs across the state.
Already so many budgetary balls in the air at the beginning of this session. What can we expect?
Well, as we move into the next week, it is a committee deadline week, so there's a lot of work to be done there, particularly in light of the fact that there were 2 days when the legislature did not meet fully, Wednesday and Thursday, because of the weather. And as you said, we'll very likely see the first movement on the FY19 budget with this funding for the medical schools.
And they start paring down and cutting back all of these ideas that are coming to the table right at the start.
That's right. Any bills that do not make it out of committee by Thursday afternoon die and can no longer be considered unless you can wiggle around and find a way to work them into an amendment.
All right, Sean Ash, I know you keep an eye on all of that for us.
Certainly.
Thank you for being with us.
You're very welcome.